Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Tapchi with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, real game come on tonight. You ready for it?
Let's do it.
You know what? That was some moment last night at Madison Square Garden. It felt almost as emotional as it's going to feel like out here at SoFi Stadium when the Dallas Cowboys win this year's Super Bowl. You ready for that?
I am not ready for that.
That was the prelude last night.
That's not going to happen, but can you imagine the ceremony going to happen when LeBron passed Kareem? They may stop the game for a whole week. Nobody played basketball for a whole week.
Well, unless he turns into Lagon, James.
There you go.
I'm not sure he's going to get there.
Boy.
There you go. Every time.
Yeah.
You don't want this man to have his moment.
Yeah.
I can't believe we just compared the Cowboys to what we saw last night. Okay, let's talk about the celebration, shall we? Steph Curry officially passed Ray Allen as the NBA's all-time three-point shooter last night at MSG, doing so in 511 fewer games than the Hall of Famer. The two-time MVP set the record early in the first quarter, and the action was stopped shortly thereafter for the celebration. And following the game, Steph said, quote, "The balance of volume and efficiency for me is the standard that I wanted to set. I never wanted to call myself the greatest shooter until I got this record, so I'm comfortable saying that now."
With a whole bunch of stuff that's headed directly to Springfield, Mass. Moment of the night last night, no question about it. Warriors-Knicks at the Garden, you already know the story. With Dad Dell in the house and the other legendary shooters there to watch it, one of them to broadcast it. Steph Curry needed one to tie and one to break the all-time three-point record, and here we go. First minute of the game. Bam! Steph knocks it in. That ties Ray Allen as the all-time greatest three-point shooter, and then just a few minutes later, the dish, the shot, the moment, the history made. Steph Curry, now officially what we already knew him to be, the greatest three-point shooter in the history of professional basketball. There's Ray Allen. There's Reggie Miller on the call for TNT. There's Dad Dell, proud to watch it. Mom Sonia there in the house to see it. Draymond, the first teammate to make it over. Steve Kerr, his coach, there for the embrace. Here's how it sounded from Brian Anderson on TNT.
Again, here's Curry for the record. It's good! There it is! Stephen Curry, the all-time three-point king in the NBA. The man who changed the game. Now he stands alone at the top of the three-point list.
What a spectacle. He was playing on the road, but it sure didn't feel that way if you watched it, and Steph moved to tears. Meanwhile, the rest of the game, interesting. Third quarter, tied at 54. Look at that pass. Steph can do more than just shoot. Watch this dish. Jordan Poole throws it down. He had 19 on the night. Draymond loves it. Look at Draymond. He's having fun out there. Third quarter now, Warriors up by 3. They own the third quarter. Look at Steph up off the glass. He was 8 of 19, 22 points on the night. More from Steph here. He would make 5 threes on the night as he seeks to put that record in a place it'll never be approached. Fourth quarter, Warriors up by 9. Draymond, Steph, let's call it a night. Warriors get the win, 105-96 in New York on a night that will be remembered as long as this game is played. Steph, let's go.
I didn't want to rush it because I knew that's when you can kind of get in your head trying to force the moment. And the way that it happened, Wiggs came off a screen. I kind of floated back to the three-point line. I didn't think I was getting the ball, and he hit me. So I just wanted to let it come. It's a pretty special moment. I shot it, and I backtrack. I saw my pops over on the side. Saw my teammates going crazy. Felt the whole buzz of the whole arena. So it was special.
Well, listen, Steph Curry not only passes Ray Allen, he does it in 511 fewer career games. Based on his current pace, if he plays 1,300 games, he will have made nearly 5,000 three-pointers. Again, he is assuming he stays healthy. He is going to wind up putting this record in a place that no one will ever approach it. And Jay Will's going to come over and talk about it in just a few minutes. But Dominique, you were there in the building. How would you describe what it was like in the Garden last night?
Emotional. I was surprised. And I think that's the difference from watching it on TV and actually being there is I was surprised how I was struck by the emotion of the moment. I think the NBA has done an outstanding job of connecting its past with its present. And there are only a few people who know what it might feel like to be in that moment. And those people are in the building. And to watch Steph hit that shot and embrace Ray Allen and then embrace Reggie Miller and hug his dad, like, if I had a heart, I might have cried. But I don't, so I just smiled. It was incredible. I loved every second of it.
Diana has the really important question.
Well, I was surprised you were there because I went to your Instagram and I just saw nothing. And I'm thinking, a moment in history, and Dom isn't documenting it?
Yeah, I did. I documented it with my eyes and my brain. I'm an old man. I mean, this social media ain't for me.
All I kept thinking was, why didn't they have Mom a little closer, right? They had her a little too far up
No
there.
respect for the mom.
Like, this is Mom, man.
What a quote, Shannon. Why did this record become such a big deal?
Because he changed the way the game is played, Skip. Jenny read in the read, Skip, how he's taking 13 threes a game, just himself. 30 years ago, they took 14 threes. Both teams combined took 14 threes in the game. Today, they're taking 71. Two teams are combining for 71 threes a game. That's because of Steph, Skip. He changed the way we watch the game. He changed the way the game is played. And so for me, it's the highlight, the three-point shot, Skip. Back in the day, when teams got 20-point lead, 25-point leads, you could turn the TV off. It was over. But with that three-point shot, a 25-point lead is not safe. They'll whittle that thing down in about 7 minutes. And he's done that. And so for me, Skip, it's not just the three-point shot. It's how he gets the three-point shot off. Reggie Miller and Ray Allen were mainly, they came off the screen type of three-point shooters. But Steph Curry took it a step further. He says, you know what? I'm going to hit you with the step back. Not only am I going to hit you with the step back, I'm going to hit you with the crossover step back. And then, you know what? Just to let you know how great a shooter I am, I'm going to shoot this shot, and I'm going to turn around and run up the court because I already know it's good. And then I might high-five my guys on the sideline just so you know. Skip, he said last night, until he had this record, he wasn't ready to call himself the greatest shooter of all time. I didn't need him to get this record. I had already proclaimed it, that I had seen enough. I saw Reggie Miller, I saw Ray Allen, and I saw a lot of other guys. He's it. And so for me, Skip, for what he's been able to do, and he mentioned it, the volume, the efficiency in which Skip, he's not just shooting corner threes. He's shooting 20. The one that he broke the record was 28 feet. That lets you know he's shooting the ball. He's shooting more. He's shooting at a better percentage, and he's shooting them further away than anybody else has ever done. Skip, records don't normally get broken. And so, Skip, when we talk about a record like this, we celebrate it. We know we're not going to see the rebound. Nobody's ever going to break Wilt's rebounding record. So that's safe. We didn't think anybody's going to get close to Kareem. So there's a chance that LeBron has an opportunity to break that. When you get these records, Skip, and the three-point record, nobody really thought about it. And I was listening to Reggie Miller and Ray. It was like, you know, we shot them, but it wasn't celebrated like it is today. And so now it's celebrated because everybody's doing it. But nobody can do it like him. He's the godfather. Even though he didn't shoot the first three, Reggie, like he said, Reggie had the record and then Ray. But now the standard bearer for the three-point shot, everybody that comes after will get compared to, yeah, he good, but he ain't Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying, Skip? It's kind of like Jordan. Yeah, he really good, but he ain't Jordan. So now with three-point shooters, Steph Curry is going to be the gold standard. He's the measuring stick of how good you can shoot a three. Is he good? Is he Steph Curry good? That's going to be the question. But Steph Curry changed the way the game is played. He changed the way we watch the game. He changed the way the analytics are done. Like, hold on. Steph Curry can make 5 threes, you make 7 twos, and he still got one more point than you got. So that's what he done. He's revolutionized the game. A 6'3" guy. Skip, normally it's bigs. A 6'3" guy changed the way we played the game of basketball. Now you got little, I see on highlight video, House of Highlight, Skip, they got 5 and 6-year-olds. Jacking up 3 between the legs, stepping back. I'm like, really, Steph? That's what you've done? Yeah, that's what I done, bro.
I hear everything you just said. And to all your points, I watched this live, as I think a whole lot of people watched it live, because there was such buildup to it. And we started 4 games back with can he? And he struggled, but then we just knew this is it. The basketball gods have decreed because he couldn't quite get there at Indiana. We're all good with that.
Right.
We won it at the Mecca.
Right.
We won it at Madison Square Garden.
You can't do it in your home arena, do it there.
You got to do it there because all the greats have been at their greatest in that building, in that city, at that moment.
Yep.
Beautiful, perfect, right on time, and we both said he's going to do it quickly,
Yeah.
and he made his first one right out of the box. And then it was about 7.5 minutes left, first quarter, boom, and the place goes crazy. And I believe those fans appreciated it almost as much as Golden State fans at home would have appreciated it.
That's where they
Because
came.
They don't have much to root for, and they haven't for many years in New York. They come to root for the greats on other teams.
Right.
Sad but true.
I saw Steph Curry break the record. I saw Michael Jordan double nickel.
Correct.
I saw Kobe 60 there. LeBron's almost 50-point triple-double. That's what you go to the Garden, now, Skip. That's it.
There were a lot of celebrities on hand.
They were.
Our man Michael Strahan was there, and obviously our guy Spike was there, front and center, just soaking it all in. But here's the point. When it ended, I sat back, and I had a goosebump moment when I saw Steph and Ray hug, because I have the highest regard for that man, Ray Allen, who ripped my heart out in Game 6, 2013 of the NBA Finals when he made the greatest clutch shot from the corner three that tied the game and sent it to overtime and kept my Spurs from winning that championship.
Right.
But the point was, I sat back and I said, that felt huge to me. That was monumentally historical.
Right.
So I tried to put it in perspective in my head, and I said, you know what? That was the second greatest moment, individual achievement moment I've experienced in my lifetime.
Really?
Since that day, I was sitting in my dorm room at Vanderbilt University in 1974. It was April the 8th, during finals, and I got my little black and white on. It was about that big, because that's all I could afford. And I'm watching Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's home run record of 714 hallowed home runs. Hank did that with 715 in Atlanta. My friend Tom House, the relief pitcher, caught it in the bullpen for the Braves, became the greatest throwing doctor in the history of teachers, starting with Tom Brady. And that was monumental because there was obviously a racial component there that a black man had finally broken the most hallowed white home run record, Babe Ruth, right?
Yes.
This felt second only to that in my lifetime. And I kept asking myself, why? What just happened?
Right.
Because there was such buildup to it. The world stopped, the sports world stopped to congratulate Stephen Curry for this record. And it hit me that it's because it revolutionized, number one, but it's also because of who shot the shot.
Right.
Steph is beloved. I believe he's beloved now even beyond LeBron.
Right.
Because LeBron's sort of Brady-esque now in that he's got his lovers and his haters. Right. But I don't think Steph has any haters.
No.
I could be wrong.
Right.
But I still have some issues with him in the postseason, but we'll talk about those later. But as far as being a great guy and representing the sport with the baby-faced assassin that he can be, there's nothing not to like about him or love about him. And there's something about who does it that makes it right?
Yes.
Hank Aaron was beloved. He never said much, but again, I grew up loving Hank Aaron. I don't know. Well, you're from Georgia,
I'm
so
from Georgia,
I assume you did.
I wasn't the biggest brand. I mean, that's I was so young when it happened. I mean, as I grew up and started to learn more about him and see him around, you have a greater appreciation of like, that's Hank Aaron. He did that. To actually see somebody that's done something of that magnitude.
Record chase I ever covered, and I was in it day to day to day, was Sosa versus McGuire, the great home run chase or race of 1998.
Yeah, Twan, you made a great point about Steph changing the game. And to illustrate your point further, right before the 2015 finals, when it was the Cavs and the Warriors, I was talking to LeBron, and I said to him, I said, look, does this Warriors team remind you of the Spurs team in 2014 that just beat Miami when LeBron was there? Because you moved the ball a lot and they shot it so well from three. And LeBron chuckled and was like, nah, not at all. Like, jump shooting teams, this is what he said, jump shooting teams don't win championships. And now look at how much the thinking has changed. Largely, like you said, you got to give Klay some credit, but most of it is because of Steph Curry. And Twan, I thought last night it was wonderful. It was great to have Ray Allen there and Reggie Miller on the call, and the TNT guys, Shaq and Barkley and all those guys really gave it a lot of love before. But it was overblown because this wasn't Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record scoring. This wasn't even John Stockton's assist record, which may never be broken. I equate this kind of like the breaking the steals record. All right, it wasn't a huge deal, but they made it huge. It was just overblown. But I understand why, Twan, because I think last night became the official acknowledgement of, one, Steph Curry being the best shooter of all time, which we've all said for years, but now it's like this official. Now he's the best shooter ever. We can all say it. And then secondly, how much he changed the game. And here's a graphic that illustrates the point perfectly. In 2011-2012, that's the year that Steph broke Ray Allen's record for most threes in a season. Now look at from the year he did that, three-pointers 10 years later, three-point shots per team have increased by 17. In the 10 years before Steph, three-point shots per team had only increased by 3. So people start seeing, wow, you can make the playoffs with shooting that many threes. Oh my gosh, you can actually win a championship shooting that many threes. Yep. Oh, you can actually be a mini dynasty shooting that many threes. And all of that's because of Steph Curry. That's how much he's changed the game, Nick.
And I think because he's changed the game, people now think, well, it's a great record and happy for Steph, but because the game has changed so much, it's going to be broken. He won't hold. No. If this record is broken, the person who breaks it is not yet in the NBA. Again, it's a weird guarantee because I won't be proven right for approximately 16 years, but I promise you, it's the math of it.
We'll be here.
So a little context here of how Steph did this, all right? Steph has now made more threes in his career than KD and Kyrie combined. And he's done it while shooting fewer total threes than James Harden. He is at about 3,000 career threes. I think it's safe to say he'll finish at about 5,000 career threes. So how would you get there? Well, I guess you could have 20 years of 250 threes a year. Guys, first of all, nobody's playing 20 years that isn't LeBron, Kobe, Dirk. But set that aside. Do you know how many people have made 250 threes more than one time in their career? Here's the full list. Klay, Dame, Buddy Hield, James Harden, and Steph Curry. All right, what about 300 threes? What about 17 years of 300 threes? Here's who's made 300 in a season. Steph and Harden. Harden's done it once, Steph's done it 4 times. All right, well, what about 400 threes? Something, okay, so I guess if you played 13 years of 400 threes, you could do it. Well, the only guy to ever hit 400 ever was Steph. 402, one time. Oh, Trae Young's going to get him. Trae Young's career high in threes is 205. He'd have to play 25 years. No, not happening. Oh, Donovan's going to catch him. No, he's not. Donovan's career high in threes is 188. My large adult Slovenian son, Luka, has never hit 200 threes in a season. So it's not being broken. I can't say ever, but probably by no one living, certainly by no one playing right now. That's the type of record Steph is going to set. No, other than Harden, no active player wilds is going to break Ray Allen's old record for at least a decade. Yeah. And Steph's not retiring. So it's a nearly unbreakable record, and I think people need to recognize that.
So, Nick, do you think it's unbreakable, not just because of the quantity of made threes, but you're also sort of baking into a range of makes, right? Are you just baking in from like 38 to maybe 44%? Do you think that there is a chance that like that we see a 50% shooter, that we see a 55% shooter. It feels, this is why I think there's some pushback on it, because it feels like we're always so much in the moment. It's like technology, like, man, it's never going to get more crazy than this. And then you think back of when you said that 10 years ago, when we didn't have even the metaverse and we didn't have crypto. Like, do you actually think it's like, well, yeah, of course, this like kid who's in middle school now shoots 60%.
Yeah, that's, but here's the thing. Steve Kerr shot 57% his final year at college. So guys have been able to shoot. It's just a question of what volume they're shooting. But unless the NBA, Antoine, changes the length of games or the length of seasons, I watched the year Harden shot 12 threes a game. It is hard to conceptualize having the time to shoot far more than that. So even if I can do quick math here, if somebody shot 15 threes a game and shot them at 40%, that's 6 threes a game. Okay, so now we're talking about they could hit 470 in a year. All right, even for that person, they'd have to do that for over 10 years. But that person doesn't exist in the NBA. If there was someone that could approach that, we would have an idea of it already. So if anyone's ever going to break this, Antoine, there's someone who is in grade school right now, not someone who's currently in the league.
Nick, nobody's going to break it. Right now, all you got to do is look at the way the Golden State Warriors are constructed and the way the team is. Steph Curry's in his prime. They're not going to change their style of play. They're getting better. They look like they're ready to go on another run for a couple of years with Klay coming back and Jordan Poole. So they're going to continue to play this style. So I'm with you, Nick. I think he's headed towards 5,000 threes, and it probably won't never be broken, or we won't be around to see it. So we got to give him his flowers now and what he's been able to accomplish. It was great to see last night on the big stage, and now we move on from it. I don't think it's going to be anybody that's going to come close to him that we're going to be able to talk about. It's just their style of playing, the way they playing for the next 3 to 4 years. He's going to be making 250 to 300 threes a year, easy.
Does anyone have a better background than Antoine Walker? Yeah.